know that a little mistake like signing a piece of paper could lead you to a deportation tomorrow?
What we're seeing is rampant unlawful detentions.
Is actually eyes above the law, or they're counting on you to not know your rights?
Can and often do legally lie to people.
We have Erin McKee today, co-founder of the Oregon Justice Resource Center.
For every federal thug who thinks they're above the law, for every liar in the Trump administration telling them they're above the law, for every coward in Congress who's not doing something.
If you want a better understanding on immigration law, then this is an episode you must watch. How do you give them hope?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's incredibly difficult.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast Aquí Entre Nos. Muchísimas gracias a toda la gente que se conecta y que nos escucha. First and foremost, we would like to thank God because we're here together and He gives us the opportunity to be connected and stay connected. This episode will be in English and will have subtitles in Spanish. I would like to thank the Chambers of Commerce for the partnership we have with them, Joanna Parra, Eliora Studios for working with us, and you guys for connecting.
And you know who are? Us.
Hector and Xiomara.
There you go. There you go. And Argelio, who is behind the camera.
Argelio.
Thank you so much, Argelio. The last minute he came. They said that justice is blind, but for the Hispanic Latino community, sometimes it feels like a maze. Sometimes it feels like it is a road full of traps, and just a small decision can change our entire life of work hard and separate families. And today we are honored to have a truly warrior of civil rights. That she is a mastermind behind training some of the lawyers that are defending Latino community. And when lawyers get out of options, they call her to see what they can do. So here in the Oregon Justice Resource Center offices, we are pleased to have this conversation with the co-founder of this organization, Erin McKee. Thank you so much for being with us.
Welcome.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for having us
Thank
and
you.
allow us to interview you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Can you tell us a little bit about the Oregon Resource Center? How is it born, and what is the story behind the story?
Sure. So the Oregon Justice Resource Center, OJRC, we are the only nonprofit legal service provider in Oregon that works with people at every step of the criminal legal process. We have a variety of projects under one umbrella. We have a civil rights project, women's justice project, youth justice project, Oregon Innocence Project, and then the Immigrant Rights Project. And at the Immigrant Rights Project, what I do on the daily is advise criminal defense attorneys who have non-citizen clients about the immigration consequences of crimes, and help their defense attorneys get to safer resolutions that hopefully won't result in automatic deportation or other negative consequences. So this is constitutionally required advice. We're funded by the state to do it, and that's what we do on the daily. We have been we co-founded with Bob and Singh, the co-founder, who's currently the executive director, OJRC in 2011, and the Immigrant Rights Project we had in its current incarnation since 2018.
Thank you for all the work that you are doing. The other day, I was reading about all what you do, and I was telling Xiomara, like, wow, there is a lot of things that I don't know that are happening in our state.
That we
Yeah.
have no clue about.
Yeah.
That, of course, we are going to center this conversation about immigration because it's what we need right now, information. But there is a lot of other things that you are doing there about incarceration and all of that. Like, that's very interesting.
Women in jail, injustice happening there.
Yeah.
Youth, like, I like that program, the Youth for Justice. What's
Yeah,
the name?
Youth Justice Project.
Yes.
It's great. Like, we all have our own unique things that we're doing, but we can use each other as resources, and we're really just stronger together. And that's kind of the MO behind us.
What is more common? You were mentioning about those lawyers who are representing non-citizen clients, what is the most common mistake and how can we avoid that? So when we are not non-citizen, obviously.
Sure, like the most common mistake when working with a defense attorney or
Yes,
that a defense
yes.
attorney might
Like if
make.
I'm a client, what should I be aware of and avoid for?
Well, right now, for
Yeah.
instance, we're seeing, or we heard that, I had a DUI back in like
Mm-hmm.
1997, and I got an expungement, and federal law cannot see that. How
Yeah.
true is that? And my lawyer told me to plead guilty, and or any other those type of
Yeah.
offenses.
So definitely people should be getting individualized advice about their case specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you know, defense attorneys or they might just give kind of broad blanket advice, but you
Mm-hmm.
cannot do that in immigration because everyone's situation is unique.
It's
And
case by
exactly,
case.
a
Yeah.
crime that might not have really hardly any negative effect for one person might be the deal breaker in another person's case.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that common law or common sense does not really apply in immigration law. So a lot of things are like, well, that just doesn't make sense. Yes, that's true. It does not make sense, but that is how the immigration law has come to be. And so you really need to talk to an expert or have your defense attorney talk to an expert. Do not plead to anything without getting full individualized advice.
I see.
So go to your defense attorney, but also if that defense attorney cannot advise you as to what implications you're gonna get to your immigration case, then also seek for an immigration attorney.
That's right. And our services are statewide. So anyone who qualifies for public defense services, if you have a state appointed lawyer in criminal proceedings, that lawyer can access our services at no extra cost to them. If if they don't qualify for state funded attorney, they should talk to a private immigration attorney and get that individualized advice. Because you're exactly right. Like an expungement typically doesn't work, right, in immigration proceedings. You'd think it
Mm-hmm.
would. You might have a state court judge say, oh, you can honestly say that you've never been arrested, but that's not true when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
immigration. So these
Correct.
are the kinds of nuances that you need an expert for.
And is it truth that, like offenses like DUI back in the days were less than nowadays?
So with DUIs or DUIs, that is an offense that right now does not trigger what we call the statutory ground of inadmissibility or deportability. So it's not a per se bar to relief and it doesn't automatically lead to deportation.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel that way because if someone is undocumented, they have no lawful status, they're already removable on that ground, and it's often the arrest for something like a DUI, which typically is not considered a serious crime, that might flag them with ICE, right? And might trigger actual placement into removal proceedings. So it really, when it comes to things like DUIs,
Mm-hmm.
DUIs, it really does depend on the administration and the priorities. Congress has tried to make a single DUI or DUI a removable or deportable offense. It hasn't passed yet.
But in the law, it is like that. But in the reality, we are fear. We have the fear of going like to court and to show our faces
Yeah.
there. How is the legality of ICE agents camping outside of court and waiting for people who is like sometimes it's like obviously cases of immigration, but sometimes it's like they are just being witness or they are just in a small
Speeding
case
tickets.
speeding
Yeah.
tickets and they just
Mm-hmm.
waiting for that. So how legal is that?
So under Oregon law, we do have strong, quote unquote, like sanctuary protections. The Sanctuary Promise Act was a bill that passed in 2021. And one of the provisions prohibits ICE courthouse arrests in the courthouse or going to or from the courthouse. The issue is that if ICE violates that portion of the law, there's not an easy, clean remedy unless there was a state actor involved. So if a clerk at the court unlawfully gave ICE information, then there could be a legal remedy. If they didn't, then it's still prohibited by law, but there's not a civil remedy for the violation. It gets into a very complicated area of state and federal law clashing.